Hello everybody, this is Don. I thought that somebody might be interested in how I manage my kayak. I'm not strong enough to pick it up, so I have to drag it wherever I go and just pick up one end. Um, when I first started with the kayak, I bought one of those big heavy covers that goes all the way around it with a zipper. I found that it created a lot of mold. It also got full of water when it rained, and it was heavy to get on and hard to get on, hard to get off, just a lot of problems. So I'm going to show you what I did to kind of alleviate that problem, and I think I spent about $120 on the canvas cover, which I hated, and I spent about $50 on my new system. So I'll show you how that works. I bought this material from the big box store, and it's just like a sun protection material. And this piece right here I bought as a screen door molding. It's just made for putting on screen into these slots, but instead of putting on screen, I don't know if you can see it, but I kind of used the same tool to put on the screen, and I put this on. It's been here for years, so it seems to hold up. Then I laid this across and kind of haphazardly cut it to where it would cover up my kayak and keep most of the sun off of it. Not all, but it lets enough sun and come through that it doesn't grow mildew very bad, and it lets the rain through and just keeps the leaves and trash off. I've got a couple of bungee cords with a couple of grips down on the bottom so that it would just not blow around and blow off and that sort of thing. It has worked really well for me. And mind you, it's probably not the best system, but it works for me, and it's not hard to put on and hard to get it off. This is how I'm loading and unloading my kayak. It's pretty simple, not much to it. That's it. For reasons I can't explain, there's always a little water in it, so I take the little connector out and always dump the water out. Grass and dirt seem to work just fine. I try to keep most everything in this bag that I need. I made these two things out of 2x6s. I got some bolts that hold the foam thing on the other side. Unfortunately, the kayak won't slide very well on foam, and it keeps trying to rip them off. So I wrapped it in this old piece of carpet I had left over last time my house was carpeted, and I nailed some shingle nails along here to hold it on. And this works really good. I've got two pieces, one for the front and one for the back. When I first tried to use it, I tried to use it just like this, but what was happening is this wants to move around some, and it just makes it more difficult. And I'm not into difficult, I'm into easy. So I've got a couple of straps that holds this onto my tailgate, and a couple of straps and one strap that holds the kayak. I used to wrap it around the bumper, but then I couldn't close the tailgate, and I didn't like the way it looked at the boat ramp, so I figured this was better. A little more aggravation, but seems to work okay. So it's pretty steady. The key to the whole thing is this piece right here. What I've got is I've got a little hook in the front of my bed of my truck, and I'll show you when I turn the camera around. When I first tried to use this setup, it beat me up every time. So I had to outsmart it by coming up with a gizmo with a hook. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this to the front and show you how it works. This is the key to make the whole thing work. My thinking was when I did it was to actually pull this up tight so that it couldn't slip off, but I got why I don't never fool with that anymore. I just leave it hooked and loose at the same length, so a rope that doesn't really move would work just fine. Now once you make that hook, you got it. It ain't going away, it ain't falling off, it ain't going anywhere. Good to go. I can come all the way in the back, and I have to worry about it sliding off. Pick this end up and slide it on. What I've started doing is just using this one hook here. Seems to work fine. I know it ain't the best, but works fine for me. I got a couple little hooks on the side of my boat, side of my truck. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the boat's secure. I bought this rag at the dollar store, and I had this clamp for some reason, so I started using it on my kayak so now I got a flag on the back. Maybe everybody will be happy. Well, I'm ready to travel down the road. Go do some kayak. That's all there is to it. And when I get down to the ramp, I'm going to show you how I unload. It's kind of the reverse of loading it, except I back up to a ramp at the water, slide it off. That's it. Well, by magic, it's the next day, and I'm here going to unload my kayak. I'm at outside of Savannah, Georgia, in a little town called Sunbury, and this is the Midway River. This area has a lot of history. There was a big port here at one time, and this was burned several times, twice I think by the Spanish and once by the British, and it was never rebuilt. They decided they couldn't protect this port. But this is one of the deepest rivers anywhere along this coast. So I'm going to show you how I put my kayak in. It's fairly simple. The trick is to have that rope tied to the front so it doesn't get away from you. Well, that's pretty well how I get it off. Not done a lot of fancy stuff to my kayak, really. I haven't done anything to it. It's just like it came from the store. I've had it for several years. And I just pile everything on top that I need and take off. This is my fish cooler. It kind of fits in the back. This is my food cooler. That's pretty well it. People always ask me how do I get to my food cooler, my fish cooler. Well, I just turn sideways in my boat. Have to hang my feet over the side. And I have fell out trying to put a fish in the cooler. So it's not something you got to be a little bit careful or you will fall out. But that's pretty well the story. Not too much to it. Probably not that interesting.